Okay.
In your relationship, do you see the energy you bring apart from your spiritual recovery also to complement aspects of her that she needs that maybe don't come naturally to her as a woman?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have learned how to be a man amongst men and a man amongst women in my recovery, and I've discovered that for a woman, and she'd tell you this if she was here, but she is growing into embracing her feminine energy, for example. It's something that she felt shortchanged with prior to recovery. So I have to have the kind of recovery that can support the feminine energy. And what I've discovered for myself as a man is that's really difficult. It's really hard for a man to make room for the feminine energy because it's very different than the masculine energy. And it makes it a lot easier if I communicate with her. You know, what do you need? How can I support you? And accept the fact that that may change 10 minutes later. Whatever she tells me may change 10 minutes later, you know, and that goes along with it. But I have to do that, and that really is for my own well-being.
Right, and the other question on the back of it is that something like UA, which is about positive visibility in the market, doesn't really make any allowances for gender differences and what our natural tendency. It's a very blanket. It's a blanket. It doesn't have the variation. And I think it's a weakness within the program, by the way, differently from alcohol or food or anything like that, because you're asking feminine energy to be visible in the marketplace in the same way that masculine energy maybe would more naturally do or be. And I'm wondering if you've ever thought about that, number one, and if at any point, without getting into gender politics, there would be a time where that sort of sensitivity can be embraced within the program. Because I personally feel that women have to go through both conditioning and other hurdles to remain visible in the marketplace, which isn't so natural to men. And I don't find that most men are sensitive or even aware of it.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation that we have a lot. We've gotten a lot of counsel on that and heard from a woman who's not in this program who's got a profound insight about this. And my wife, for example, my wife has said, you know, I've been running the business for 6 days, and when you come home, I need to stop being masculine. I need time for my own feminine space, and you to come back and take your role in running the business. And she's cognizant enough about the imbalance within her, and she has enough communication capacity and because of her recovery that she can say that to me. And then it's my job to hear, and then process it through my male brain and try and figure out, you know, how I can support her in that and what it means. But it's an ongoing conversation, and it's my experience, and certainly my wife's, that the marketplace, generally speaking, is not conducive to that, you know, or sensitive to that. As far as it goes in the program, I would imagine, given the profundity of this program and the fact that this is just about everyone coming out, every soul coming out of the cave, I don't see any way how this program can develop and not come to a place where it will embrace that. But it's going to challenge us in a lot of very important ways, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Last one.
I have two kind of questions in one. Well, I'll just ask them sort of. Okay, so obviously you have all this clarity about your role, and I know your wife isn't here and she would be better to speak about her role, but it sounds like you're working within an understanding that she may have a role that she's playing too that's based on this sort of foundation that you're working with, and can you speak about that?
Well, we got on, you know, I spoke to this earlier, we got honest about who we were. We came into it honest about who we were and what we wanted as best as we could. And I was very surprised, I grew up calling myself a feminist, using that as a tool to pick up women, right? That was it. And I was very surprised when I got into this relationship with her when she said, I would love to be able to do what I love, have my own business, but have kids with you, stay home, make dinner, create a beautiful home. So I thought two things. I actually felt guilty about the fact that I was excited about that, because I wasn't honest with myself about what I wanted as a man, you know. And this is just for us. Whatever's right between any partnership, that's between them and their power. So that's taken a lot of communication as well. And I still feel almost, she makes me blueberry pancakes, gluten-free blueberry pancakes, as a regular thing, and I almost feel guilty about it. But because of this program, I've gotten a lot better at accepting those kinds of gifts from her. And so to me, it's about communication. I got to be honest with myself so I can be honest with her, and it keeps evolving. And we'll continue to change too. I'm sure our roles are going to change.
My follow-up question to that is like what I have experienced in relationship, and that confuses me is when the two, you say, okay, your second thing was my job is to help her get what she wants. Mm-hmm. And then there's the what do you want, right? Also sometimes that can come up, or what do you need? And like when two people's needs are kind of in like who gets to get their needs met when it seems like both can't be met at the same time.
Yeah, but wants are different than needs. And if I'm self-supporting through my own contribution, my needs are being met. And she's not responsible for any of those.
Right.
And I'm not responsible for her happiness. No, sir.
Right.
No way.
But I guess when the want thing is, helping her get what she wants, and then I'm not saying, like, I don't know, like, does that ever come up, like, well, what do you want? And is she supporting you to help get you what you want?
We can talk more about that because we're at time, but I think there's an important distinction to make between needs and wants. And needs, and I recognize my needs are being met, then that keeps me in a place of gratitude, and it makes it much more likely for me to be generous of spirit.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, down to the finale. Everybody get up. What? 5 minutes? Okay, let's take a 5-minute break. But before you do, let's just stretch a little bit. Come on, let's just stretch. Okay, or to the right. I'm sort of like a Jewish Jack LaLanne. To the left. All right. Back. Forward. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, back in 5 minutes.